Hey guys, welcome to day 192 of the Bible in a Year plan. Today we will be reading the book of Zephaniah, 2 Corinthians 8, and Psalm 74. If you need to read more about this plan, visit the High Quality Gospel website with the link in the description of the episode and the podcast. Please leave a like and follow the podcast to stay up to date with new episodes. Now, let's begin with reading the book of Zephaniah. The word of the Lord that came to Zephaniah, son of Cushi, son of Gedaliah, son of Amariah, son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah. I will completely sweep away everything from the face of the earth. This is the Lord's declaration. I will sweep away peoples and animals. I will sweep away the birds of the sky and the fish of the sea, and the ruins along with the wicked. I will cut off mankind from the face of the earth. This is the Lord's declaration. I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all the residents of Jerusalem. I will cut off every vestige of Baal from its place. The names of the pagan priests, along with the priests, those who bow and worship on the rooftops, to the stars in the sky, to those who bow and pledge loyalty to the Lord, but also pledge loyalty to Milcom, and those who turn back from following the Lord, who do not seek the Lord or inquire of him. Be silent in the presence of the Lord God, for the days of the Lord is near. Indeed, the Lord has prepared a sacrifice. He has consecrated his guest. On the day of the Lord's sacrifice, I will punish the officials, the king's sons, and all who are dressed in foreign clothing. On that day I will punish all who skip over the threshold, who fill their master's house with violence and deceit. On that day, this is the Lord's declaration. There will be an outcry from the fish gate, a wailing from the second district, and a loud crashing from the hills. Wail, you residents of the hollow, for all merchants will be silenced. All those loaded with silver will be cut off. And at that time I will search Jerusalem with lamps, and punish those who settle down comfortably, and say to themselves, the Lord will do nothing, good or bad. Their wealth will become plunder, and their houses a ruin. They will build houses but never live in them, plant vineyards but never drink their wine. The great day of the Lord is near, near and rapidly approaching. Listen, the day of the Lord, when the warrior's cry is bitter. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of destruction and desolation, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and total darkness, a day of trumpet and battle cry, against the fortified cities and against the high corner towers. I will bring distress on mankind, and they will walk like the blind, because they have sinned against God. Their blood will be poured out like dust, and their flesh like dung. Their silver and their gold will be unable to rescue them on the day of the Lord's wrath. The whole earth will be consumed by the fire of his jealousy, for he will make a complete, yes, a horrifying end of all the inhabitants of the earth. Gather yourselves together, gather together, undesirable nation, before the decree takes effect, and the day passes like chaff. Before the burning of the Lord's anger overtakes you, before the day of the Lord's anger overtakes you. Seek the Lord, all you humble of the earth, who carry out what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be concealed on the day of the Lord's anger. For Gaza will be abandoned, and Ashkelon will become a ruin. Ashdod will be driven out at noon, and Ekron will be uprooted. Woe, inhabitants of the seacoast, nation of the Kerethites! The word of the Lord is against you, Canaan, land of the Philistines. I will destroy you until there is no one left. The seacoast will become pasture lands, the caves for shepherds and pens for sheep. The coastland will belong to the remnant of the house of Judah. They will find pasture there. They will lie down in the evening among the houses of Ashkelon. For the Lord their God will return to them and restore their fortunes. I have heard the taunting of Moab and the insults of the Ammonites, who have taunted my people and threatened their territory. Therefore, as I live, this is the declaration of the Lord of armies, the God of Israel. Moab will be like Sodom, and the Ammonites like Gomorrah, a place overgrown with weeds, a salt pit, and a perpetual wasteland. The remnant of my people will plunder them, the remainder of my nation will dispossess them. This is what they get for their pride, because they have taunted and acted arrogantly against the people of the Lord of armies. The Lord will be terrifying to them when he starves all the gods of the earth. Then all the distant coasts and islands of the nations will bow and worship to him, each in its own place. You Cushites will also be slain by my sword. He will also stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria. He will make Nineveh a desolate ruin, dry as the desert. Herds will lie down in the middle of it. Every kind of wild animal, both eagle owls and herons, will roost in the capitals of its pillars. Their calls will sound from the window, but devastation will be on the threshold. For he will expose their cedar work. This is the jubilant city that lives in security, that says to herself, I exist and there is no one else. What a desolation she has become, a place for wild animals to lie down. Everyone who passes by her scoffs and shakes his fist. Woe to the city that is rebellious and defiled, the oppressive city. She has not obeyed, she has not accepted discipline. She has not trusted in the Lord, she has not drawn near to her God. The princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are wolves of the night, which leave nothing for the morning. Her prophets are reckless, treacherous men, her priests profane the sanctuary, they do violence to instruction. The righteous Lord is in her, he does no wrong. He applies his justice morning by morning, he does not fail at dawn. Yet the one who does wrong knows no shame. I have cut off nations, their corner towers are destroyed. I have laid waste to their streets, with no one to pass through. Their cities lie devastated, without a person, without inhabitant. I said, you will certainly fear me, and accept correction. Then her dwelling place could not be cut off, based on all that I had allocated to her. However, they became more corrupt in all their actions. Therefore wait for me. This is the Lord's declaration. Until the day I rise up for plunder, for my decision is to gather nations, to assemble kingdoms, in order to pour out my indignation on them, all my burning anger, for the whole earth will be consumed by the fire of my jealousy. For I will then restore pure speech to the peoples, so that all of them may call on the name of the Lord and serve him with a single purpose. From beyond the rivers of Cush, my supplicants, my dispersed people, will bring an offering to me. On that day you will not be put to shame, because of everything you have done, in rebelling against me. For then I will remove from among you your jubilant, arrogant people, and you will never again be haughty on a holy mountain. I will leave a meek and humble people among you, and they will take refuge in the name of the Lord. The remnant of Israel will no longer do wrong or tell lies. A deceitful tongue will not be found in their mouths. They will pasture and lie down, with nothing to make them afraid. Sing for joy, daughter Zion. Shout loudly, Israel. Be glad and celebrate with all your heart, daughter Jerusalem. The Lord has removed your punishment. He has turned back your enemy. The King of Israel, the Lord, is among you. You need no longer fear harm. On that day it will be said to Jerusalem, do not fear. Zion, do not let your hands grow weak. The Lord your God is among you, a warrior who saves. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will be quiet in his love. He will delight in you with singing. I will gather those who have been driven from the appointed festivals. They will be a tribute from you, and a reproach on her. Yes, at that time I will deal with all who oppress you. I will save the lame and gather the outcast. I will make those who were disgraced throughout the earth receive praise and fame. At that time I will bring you back. Yes, at that time I will gather you. I will give you fame and praise among all the peoples of the earth. When I restore your fortunes before your eyes, the Lord has spoken. Now we read 2 Corinthians 8. We want you to know, brothers and sisters, about the grace of God that was given to the churches of Macedonia. During a severe trial brought out by affliction, their abundant joy and their extreme poverty overflowed in a wealth of generosity on their part. I can testify that, according to their ability, and even beyond their ability, of their own accord, they have begged us earnestly for the privilege of sharing in the ministry to the saints, and not just as we had hoped. Instead, they gave themselves first to the Lord, and then to us by God's will. So we urged Titus that just as he had begun, so he should also complete among you this act of grace. Now as you excel in everything, in faith, speech, knowledge, and in all diligence, and in your love for us, excel also in this act of grace. I am not saying this as a command. Rather, by means of the diligence of others, I am testing the genuineness of your love. For you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, though he was rich, for your sake he became poor, so that by his poverty you might become rich. And in this matter I am giving advice, because it is profitable for you, who began last year not only to do something, but also to want to do it. Now also finish the task, so that just as there was an eager desire, there may also be a completion, according to what you have. For if the eagerness is there, the gift is acceptable, according to what a person has, not according to what he does not have. It is not that there should be a relief for others and hardship for you, but it is a question of equality. At the present time your surplus is available for their need, so that their abundance may in turn meet your need, in order that there may be equality. As it is written, the person who has much did not have too much, and the person who has little did not have too little. Thanks be to God, who put the same concern for you into the heart of Titus, for he welcomed our appeal, and being very diligent, went out to you by his own choice. We have sent with him the brother who is praised among all the churches for his gospel ministry. And not only that, but he was also appointed by the churches to accompany us with this gracious gift that we are administering for the glory of the Lord himself, and to show our eagerness to help. We are taking this precaution so that no one will criticize us about this large sum that we are administering. Indeed, we are giving careful thought to do what is right, not only before the Lord, but also before people. We have also sent with them our brother. We have often tested him in many circumstances, and found him to be diligent, and now even more diligent because of his great confidence in you. As for Titus, he is my partner and co-worker for you. As for our brothers, they are the messengers of the churches, the glory of Christ. Therefore show them proof before the churches of your love and of our boasting about you. Now we read Psalm 74. Why have you rejected us forever, God? Why does your anger burn against the sheep of your pasture? Remember your congregation which you purchased long ago, and redeemed as the tribe for your own possession. Remember Mount Zion where you dwell. Make your way to the perpetual ruins, to all that the enemy has destroyed in the sanctuary. Your adversaries roared in the meeting place, where you met with us. They set up their emblems as signs. It was like men in a thicket of trees, wielding axes, then smashing all the carvings with hatchets and picks. They set your sanctuary on fire. They utterly desecrated the dwelling place of your name. They said in their hearts, let's oppress them relentlessly. They burned every place throughout the land where God met with us. There are no signs for us to see. There is no longer a prophet, and none of us knows how long this will last. God, how long will the enemy mock? Will the foe insult your name forever? Why do you hold back your hand? Stretch out your right hand and destroy them. God, my King, is from ancient times, performing saving acts on the earth. You divided the sea with your strength. You smashed the heads of the sea monsters in the water. You crushed the heads of Leviathan. You fed him to the creatures of the desert. You opened up springs and streams. You dried up ever-flowing rivers. The day is yours, also the night. You established the moon and the sun. You set out all the boundaries of the earth. You made summer and winter. Remember this, the enemy has mocked the Lord, and a foolish people has insulted your name. Do not give to beast the life of your dove. Do not forget the lives of your poor people forever. Consider the covenant, for the dark places of the land are full of violence. Do not let the oppressed turn away in shame. Let the poor and needy praise your name. Rise up, God, champion your cause. Remember the insults that fools bring against you all day long. Do not forget the clamor of your adversaries, the tumult of your opponents that goes up constantly. On day 191, we read Habakkuk and his prayers to God, and in 2 Corinthians, we saw Paul express joy in Corinth. Today we read the book of Zephaniah. Zephaniah is another minor prophet during the time that Judah was about to be exiled. He saw the sins of the people, even though previous kings may have tried to turn the people back towards God. The people continued to fall into sin and corrupt God's law and his worship. Zephaniah talks about God's good world falling back into darkness and disarray. Jerusalem's world of sin and injustice is going to fall into an apocalypse. God is the controller of the world, and he raises up nations and destroys nations. Jerusalem was allowed to be raised up, but have sinned against him, so he will raise up a more powerful nation to destroy them. God will judge the other nations too, like the Moabites, Ammonites, and the Philistines. They are all corrupt, including Judah, and worship falsely. God will come to them in an all-consuming fire, but just like the other prophets, Zephaniah preaches hope for the future. He says that Jerusalem will be restored. God will do the healing. God will transform the rebellious and make them worship him and only him. They will be purified. God is loving, and God is also just. Both must occur together. God ensures that we will be disciplined when needed, and God cannot do this if he was not loving. Only the loving discipline. And justice means nothing if there is no love. In 2 Corinthians, Paul moves to a new topic, the collection of funds for suffering Christians in Jerusalem. The Corinthians had previously agreed to participate in contributing to this collection about a year earlier, Paul gave them instructions for how to do so. However, some difficult issues had arisen between them and Paul in the meantime. And we've read about these issues that they've had with each other in this book. However, the question still remains: will they still follow through on their commitment to give? And so with this in mind, Paul urges the Corinthians to excel in this act of grace, is what he calls it, as they excel in faith, in speech, in knowledge, and everything else. He is quick to say that he is not commanding them to follow through with their commitment. That would defeat the purpose of the gift. Instead, he asks them to understand this as an opportunity to prove that they genuinely have Christ-like love for others. And so he wants them to give in spite of the issues that he and the church have had and the disagreements they've had, and that they've promised earlier, so they must continue with their promise. However, he makes it clear he is not commanding them to do so, because then it wouldn't be a true gift. If we're not willing on our own to give our gifts, to give our offering, to sacrifice our own material wealth for others, then it doesn't matter. You're doing it because you have to, not because you desire to, not because God commands it to. Paul says that they were ready to give. And for that readiness to mean anything, though, they must now follow through and actually give. And he's not even asking them to give everything they have, or even more than they have. He is asking them to follow the biblical principle of giving in proportion to what they have. Jesus even talks about this. And the goal for Christians should be to maintain fairness, Paul writes, with those who have much giving to those who have little, so that all will have enough. Paul adds, Christ did much more for them. He willingly left the riches and safety of heaven to come to earth as a man and die for their sins. He did this so that they could experience the riches and safety of heaven. And now it's time to follow Christ's example in sacrificing our things for the good of others. Lastly, in Psalm, we see a psalm from someone who believes God has rejected them. Israel is going through a time of trials, and so it may feel like God is punishing them. The enemies of Israel have mocked God and desecrated his name. The prayer glorifies God, making sure to state that God is all-powerful and is the greatest of everything. So, only he has the power to free Israel from these enemies and destroy them, lifting up God's name even higher. Thank you for joining in the reading and understanding of these chapters, and let us all be vigilant in continuing this reading. Please share, like, follow, or whatever you can do to help us reach more people with the Bible reading. Please also check out the High Quality Gospel website for more information and a couple of store items. Thank you, and keep learning.